Welcome back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace, and today is Monday, July 27th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting because that is what I love to do all day, every day. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there if you like. All the things that I will be talking about will hopefully be linked in the show notes, and that's on my blog, so the link to that will be down below if you're on YouTube, or if you're on my blog already, everything is already down below. We have knitting to talk about this week. I have a finished object. I have bangs. What? So lots of fun things to discuss. I have languishing whips to talk about. I have future knitting projects to discuss, and yeah, so let's just jump right in to the podcast episode. So if you'd like to go grab something tasty to drink, I have iced coffee today in my Gumby's pizza cup. I've heard that Gumby's Pizza is like a college town thing, and I didn't actually realize this. If you're new to the podcast, I went to Texas A&M, and they have Gumby's there, and their pizza rolls are the best pizza rolls, without a doubt. But yes, we have several cups from them, and I really love drinking iced coffee out of them because they're really big. They're also really good smoothie cups. Fun fact. This is definitely not why you're watching this podcast, because we're not reviewing cups from restaurants. It's a very niche thing to discuss. Anyway, if you'd like to go grab something tasty to drink in whatever form of vessel you are drinking it out of, an animal to snuggle, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, laundry to fold, or all of the above, or I got a comment recently that someone works out while she watches the podcast, which is pretty cool. So maybe you're working out. I don't know. If you are, more power to you. That is wonderful. Go you got this. Or any of those things, and you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. That was very disjointed, but we're just gonna go with it anyway. It's the real me, you know. I've done a lot of knitting this week, and once again, it's on my secret test knit that I can't show you. But I've done a lot of other knitting, clearly because I do have a finished object, and yes, you can see these ends are not trimmed yet. They are woven in. Let's just be aware. They are woven in because I wove them in as I went. Is this not beautiful? This is the Cozy Days cowl by Autumn Poppy Designs. My yarn is caught on my ring. My yarn is Long Dog yarn. The pink is Pinky Swear on her single space, and the mohair is Sea Glass. And I have loved working with her yarn. It was a delight to knit with, and I have a very large amount left over of my mohair, which is really awesome because I can put that in literally anything. And I have less than 1/4 of a skein left of the singles. So I do have leftover of both colors. You could really just keep going until you run out of yarn, but I really wanted to finish it, and I wanted to be able to wear it and show it to you guys today, so I did try and make it happen, and it did, so it's done. There was a provisional cast on. I didn't do the Kitchener like I was supposed to because I didn't want to have to deal with it. Where is my join? Normally that would be like, oh my goodness, that's so wonderful, you can't even tell where it is. But I did a 3-needle bind off, and I mean, it blends in pretty well. I like to view it as a design element, you know, because I mean, it does add a little bit of texture. I mean, but also you can't really tell unless you were looking for it from a distance. But I kind of like the look of that. It's just like a little bit of detail. I think that's cool. I also didn't really want to do the Kitchener stitch late at night, and so I just made it work. You know? You do what you gotta do. You can do whatever you want. I feel like with stuff like that, unless it is imperative to the construction of whatever you were making, you can make it work. Do whatever makes you happy. If the Kitchener stitch is not that, then don't do it. There are other options. You can do that too. So yeah, this is my finished object and I am so excited. It is too hot to really wear it right now. Outside anyway, I can wear it inside just fine. But yes, it's long enough that I can do a double loop, which is nice. I will, excuse me, there's mohair in my throat. This is just so pretty. I love it so much. I will say that one of the sides is like significantly tighter than the other one. And I'm pretty sure, so this is the tighter edge and you can kind of see that it's a little bit more, I don't know, you can definitely feel it more than seeing it. I think this is probably like, yeah, this is the side that I always started on, especially with my color changes on this side. And so if you do knit this, just make sure that you do your edge, slip your edges as loosely as possible. You can kind of see that it's a little curving a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, it's really, I can still get it around my head twice. And that was my goal. That was what I wanted. So I am not complaining. And when I knit it next time, if I do, I will know to be careful of that. So loving this. This is awesome. Would highly recommend. It was a very fun knit. Probably a good Christmas present pattern to keep in the back of your mind for sure. Probably whip some of these out of stash, really. Be pretty awesome. Anyway, so Cozy Days cowl, Autumn Poppy Designs, Log Dog yarn, not log dog, long dog yarn is what I used. So that's very exciting. And like I said, this secret test knit that I cannot divulge any information about has gotten a lot of progress, and I will say that the deadline and the amount of knitting that needs to be done has been very overwhelming. And I talked about deadlines last week and how they can really kill your mojo and it's really not good. So I prevented that. I was like, kind of like when you can feel a migraine coming on or something like that, or a headache, and you're like, well, I'm gonna take some Tylenol first and I'm gonna like get ahead of this headache pain that's coming and I'm gonna take it now. I did that, kind of, not the same thing, not that this is painful, but I kind of did that with this secret test knit because I did a lot of math, which is just a thing. Normally math is not my favorite. I feel like knitting related math for me is way much more palatable. I was thinking, I'm sorry, this story has so many tangents. I was thinking about this the other day and I gave myself quite the chuckle, which I do quite often if you watch this podcast. You would know that I make myself laugh quite a lot, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just funny, I hope. Anyway, so, okay, this is very specific and hopefully this will be funny. I thought this was hilarious. Okay, so, knitting math for me is not like top of my most favorite things to do. Math in general has never been one of my favorite things. In fact, it's been very low on the list of things that I enjoy doing. But when it comes to knitting math, I don't mind it as much, and I'm a little bit more aware of what formulas need to be done, like how do I figure out things, what needs to be divided by what, all that jazz. So I'm better at knitting math is basically what I'm telling you. And I was thinking about I don't remember what Office episode it is. We are huge Office fans. By the way, fun fact about me and my husband, Sam, we love The Office with such a huge passion. Love it. It's one of our favorite TV shows. And we've seen it together multiple times. We've had many watch throughs, and we've just recently picked up at one random point and have started watching because, you know, it brings laughs, brings a lot of joy. Michael Scott is hilarious, all that jazz. Anyway, so The Office, we love The Office. There's tangents to tangents here today. I do apologize. And so there's one Office episode where the accounting team discovers that Kevin is really good at math when it comes to pies or desserts. I don't remember which one, but like when it comes to food items, he can do math like a math whiz. Like, he's so good at it when it comes to food. When it comes to other things, he cannot do math. He cannot understand it. He cannot do it correctly. They're constantly having to redo his math because he makes mistakes. But when it's like, Kevin, how many pies and how many whatevers are divided together? What does that get? And he's just like, whoa. And he's right, because it has to do with food. And I feel like for me, if it's knitting related, I can't do it in my head, but I do know what to do. So I can't do it regularly very well or quickly, but when it comes to knitting, I can be like, I gotcha, hold on a second, I know what to do. And that is my story. My knitting math is Kevin's food math. You know. I hope that story was funny. I thought it was hilarious because I had never actually thought about that comparison before, and I was just highly amused. So I've just compared myself to Kevin from The Office in regards to doing math, and that is today's episode. But to bring it back to the original story of what I was talking about, my secret testant, I did some math. I figured out how many days I had left between the day I figured out this math and the day that I wanted to get it done. And I want to get it done early to be able to take some nice pictures, and so I took that into account. So I actually have a lot of like wiggle room if I need to skip a couple days or whatever. I figured out how many repeats I need to do left. I figured out how many rows are within each repeat. I figured out how many rows are in the total repeats that I have left and all that jazz. I figured out all this stuff. And then I figured out how many rows I need to do between then and the day that I want to finish to get it done on that day. And once I did that, it was like, oh wow, okay, whew, I feel so much better. I don't feel pressured at all. I just need to do however many rows. Easy peasy, you know? And hello, I'm talking about math. Please be quiet. So because of that, I feel much better about where I am in this test knit, and I don't feel as overwhelmed. It is still a lot of knitting. I'm not gonna say that it's not a lot of knitting, because it is. And I wish I could show it to you, and I wish I could talk about it because it's really incredible and I'm so excited about it. But the day will come. And yeah, so that's where most of my knitting time has gone this week, because I have figured out how many rows I need to do. And in addition to other life things such as doing the laundry and all that other kind of stuff, cleaning sheets, towels, making dinner, the kitty litter, groceries, trying to stay safe and healthy, cleaning face masks, that kind of thing. Because wear a face mask. That's important. Yeah, so I've really been focusing on that. I also got a lot, this is a very smooth transition. I'm very proud of myself. And speaking of test knits, living in my pumpkin spice latte suburban stitcher bag, I got so much done on my other test knit, which made me feel so good. Because I was feeling kind of behind. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a struggle. I am just gonna be behind. And I am not behind anymore because I have 50% of a sock. And I finished this little folded cuff. I just stuck that DPN up my nose. That was very unpleasant. Glad we got that on tape. I could have not said anything and we could have just moved on, and I don't know if you could even notice, but it definitely went up my nose and that was not very pleasant. So try and avoid sticking or accidentally sticking, whacking, whatever, poking DPNs up your nose. Why that even needs to be said, I don't know, but we're saying it. Be careful. So this is a test knit for Lindsay of Lost and Fond, and I've tested it for her one other time earlier this year. I did the Port and Pines cowl, which was color work, and now I'm doing these slippery socks. And I say slippery, it's not like it's actually the act of slipping. It is slipper type socks. So we have this very beautiful double thickness cuff that is really awesome, and my gray is Blue Mule Fiber Company, and it's this tweedy base, which is just so beautiful. And then my mohair, which shows up much more blue on the camera, is like this electric purple, and that is from Hedgehog Fibers. And I don't remember the colorway name because I do not have a ball band. It may be in another project bag that is actually sitting at my feet, so I probably do have it somewhere. It's just not in this bag. Anyway, so my deadline for this, for one sock, is sometime at the beginning of August. And so I am not worried. This was really wonderful. So fun, another story time. This is a story time full episode. I hope you enjoy stories. Me telling stories, my storytelling abilities. I don't know. You're here for the knitting, and I do apologize that I get off topic. But story time. I knew I needed to work on this, and this past Saturday we went and hung out with my in-laws because my husband's birthday is on Tuesday, so tomorrow when I'm recording this, and yesterday when you're watching this. So his birthday was the 28th, and because we have plans for this coming weekend, we hung out with his family on Saturday, this past Saturday, as like a pre-birthday hangout. And so I brought this project along when I didn't work on this in the car. Did I? I don't remember. I don't think I did. But I worked on this once I got there, and I realized I was actually much farther in the whole cuff part than I thought I was. So then I was very ready and easily available. What am I trying to say? It was very easy to just move right along, connect the cuffs, or the top to the bottom of the cuff, move along. Like literally, I was able to do most of this within the span of maybe an hour and a half, an hour. It was amazing. Once I finished the cuff, it was just like smooth sailing, and it was like, oh my goodness, I need to make more socks, and it needs to happen now. And so that's very exciting. I have not knit a heel flap in forever. I have not turned a heel in forever, and I forgot how much fun it was, or how much fun it is, really. It's got this pattern has this really awesome texture. It's very easy. It's just rows in between, some knit purl rows. So that'll be on that's on the heel flap, and then it's on the top of the foot. And then the rest of the sock will be plain. So this is really awesome. I had fond memories of knitting socks while I have been working on this, or while I worked on this. While I was turning the heel, because I hadn't done it in so long, part of me was like, this cannot be right. This is not right. But in the back of my mind, I was remembering the very first time I turned a heel of a sock. I was taking a sock class with my mom at the yarn store that I learned how to knit at and that I worked at for a while, Yarntopia. I remember my teacher, she was wonderful, and I remember when we were turning the heel and like right before, she was just like, it's just so magical, like turning sock heels is magic. And I would just love that, and I'm never gonna forget that. And so sock heels are magic. They are awesome. And I realized there's a bunch of different kinds of sock heels, but like the short row type, that's the only one I've really done, I guess. It's just kind of crazy how you can take knitting flat and somehow make an angle and make like a little pocket for your heel to go into. It's magic. I don't know. It's one of those things I know how to do, but I couldn't really explain it to you. But I also have my awesome Progress Keeper from Hand Stitch Life. This is the last week, I believe, that my coupon code for 15% off in her shop, Catknits15, will be working. So go and place your orders soon. I have definitely placed some orders, or an order, and I'm very excited. I think it should be getting here very soon, and I cannot wait to show it to you. I got some Christmas stuff, and I'm very excited. Christmas in July, right? You know, or August, or anytime before Christmas. It can be Christmas anytime. Sam would not agree with that, but that's okay. You know what? Christmas is a happy time. The holidays are awesome. So socks, I'm just holding this in a bunch of random different ways. Let's just hold it upside down because that makes sense. So yeah, I'm very excited for this. I don't know if the name of this has been decided yet, but this should be coming out sometime in August, I believe. So yeah, this is very exciting. Stash, super great. I know that I will need to knit a second sock, but I'm not going to think about that right now because I have to finish the first sock, and that's all I really need to focus on right now because that's all I need to do for the test knit, really. Once the first sock is done, my test knit is complete. I just need to continue on and not procrastinate, because I will. I need to not procrastinate by not starting the second sock right away. So yeah, that's very exciting. I did get so much progress on that because last week I was not very far into the cut. I mean, I definitely had a good amount of inches, but it was still not enough to really, I was not happy with my progress. And now I'm very happy with my progress. So that is really awesome. Test knit for Lindsay of Lost and Fond. And everybody, oh no, I did work on this. Okay, so I pulled out, we're going to talk about some languishing whips real quick. Actually, not real quick because there's a lot to talk about. there's this project that's not listed on my Ravelry, and I forgot that I had it. Actually, I didn't forget that I had it, but I forgot that it was not included in the projects that I was counting on my Ravelry, and it needs to be added, and it's not. But this is my advent calendar from 2019 that needs to get done. So I'm ready to go for 2020. I said that last year. I said that I would do a good job and I would get it done and before December, whatever, so I'd be ready to go, and I need to do that because it's July, you know. So last year, my mom and I did Yarn Cafe Creations and Dragon Horde Yarns, their Hogwarts Christmas at Hogwarts Year 3 Advent Calendar, and we both picked the Hufflepuff select option because we are both Hufflepuffs. Hufflepuff Pride. And so this is what we did. It's basically just a tube of an infinity cowl, and we will join the ends. They're just stripes of all these colors, and it goes on and on and on, and here we are. So I actually have a lot more colors to, I have unwrapped them now, and that was taking up a lot of space, and it's no longer taking up space, which is really good. But I only have 3 more that are currently wound up. So I decided, I don't think this is cheating. I decided that I'm only going to continue until I run out of ones that are currently wound up. So I have this one that I'm currently working on, and then I have 3 more, plus the black stripes in between. I also found a progress keeper, which was really exciting because I love this one. It is an Little Bitty Delights. It is her sugared donuts, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's sparkly, and I love it. Anyway, so I got a lot done. I switched it over to some nice needles, which is really exciting, so that means it's gonna go so fast, and I'm so excited. But yeah, once I'm done with these 3 wound up balls, it's just like, I'm done. I'm done. Which is really great because I can use all the other minis. I think there might be 6 or 7 afterwards. I know, it's not part of my Advent project, but it'll be used in something, you know? Because I have used at least 3 or 4 of the leftovers of these in like my Penguono and other projects. I have one of these other colors that's going to be used in another project whenever that gets cast on. And so they will be used. These leftover bits that are in my stash, and then the other ones that didn't get wound up. But I love stash busting projects. I love scrappy projects. They are my favorite. And so they will be used. They will be loved. It doesn't matter that they're not in my Advent project. I do apologize. That's my bad. I need to plan out what I need to do, what I'm going to do. Because I don't like having this type of situation where I have this thing I'm really excited about in December, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it done, it's gonna be amazing, I'm not gonna fail. And then August, end of July rolls around, and it's like, I still have so much to do. We're just singing a lot this episode as well. Let's blame the iced coffee. You know what? I was really tired before this, but I have really enjoyed drinking this, and we are fired up, which is good, because I have a lot of laundry to fold later. But dinner's in the crock pot, so that's all that really matters, you know? Yeah, I need to figure out a plan. What I'm gonna do with 2020's Advent Calendar And I'm very excited. Also, it's living in a box from Bath and Body Works. Because why not? It's very pretty on the inside. It's got like this blue. Fun fact, why use a project bag? It was in this project bag, but it's just too big to fit in this one. And I had all like the skeins in here. They are no longer in there because they're in my bits and pieces stash basket. You know? So that's very exciting. I will figure out what I'm doing for my advent calendar. My mom and I are doing Pineapple Yarns advent calendar this year, which I am so excited about. Yeah, I am thinking something Stephen West, because so we're going to talk about advent calendars, because now is the best time to talk about advent calendars, because I mean I just was, but you know. So last year, Diane of the Suburban Stitcher, a podcast and yarn company, whatever, makes beautiful yarn. I have knit with a lot of her yarn. She is really wonderful. She was working on, I don't remember, I have a Snapchat. I don't remember which Stephen West shawl it was. But she had multiple advent calendars, and so she was working them all into one big Stephen West shawl. And I love that idea so much. And so what I think I want to do is, I don't know. Like, I'm just now verbally processing all this. Okay, so I don't know which shawl, but to make things less overwhelming, I could not open one every day, but open like 3 a week or something like that. Like, excuse me, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, or something. I don't know. Maybe 2 a week. I don't know. Something like that. Not every day, because then I wouldn't be overwhelmed. Because we don't want to be overwhelmed. And also to gather a bunch of like neutral colors from my stash to have in between each of the advent minis, if that makes sense. So I could be stash busting and using this advent calendar to make a hopefully very bright and beautiful and fun and happy Stephen West shawl. But that means that I need to finish my current Stephen West shawl, which is a great transition. Man, I'm just full of great transitions today. Well, remember this transition, because I'm not done talking about the advent calendar yet. Place a bookmark there, whatever. So yeah, I would really like to do that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I feel like it out the fun advent calendar-ness, and because I feel like in my experience, I love advent calendars so much. I think they're super fun. At some point I'd like to try and make my own. I think that would be really fun. But by the end of the advent calendar, like, I'm usually I'm not bored. I'm definitely not bored, but I'm just kind of like stressed out a little bit because I know I'm not knitting all that I need to be knitting. And so I'm like, I have not done a good job and I am failing this advent calendar and I'm not getting to knit all this stuff and I'm just so, and nobody wants that in an advent calendar. Granted, I still love it, and it's still so much fun to open up a little skein every day. It is the best. But I feel like I could enjoy it even more, and granted, this is my own personal experience. I could enjoy it even more if I spread it out and figured out a way that I could make something that could be really big, but also use stash and also an advent calendar and just be really fun and not worry about getting it done within the month of December. Make it a 3-month thing, maybe? I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. Ideas. I don't know. Are you doing an advent calendar? Are you making one? If you've made one, I would love to hear about that because I think it just sounds like so much fun. And I have so many fun colors that I could put together a color palette, and or I could just give Sam all my fingering scraps and tell him to just have fun and put it together for me. That might be kind of fun. He probably would enjoy that too. Fun things to think about. Anyway, so let's go back to that bookmark that we placed. The other Stephen West shawl that I currently have on my needles that needs to be finished. This is living in my bag that my mom got me from Maker and Stitch, which is in Edwards, Colorado. And this is my chevron shenanigans, and I found another progress keeper. Which is very Christmassy, and I love it. This is another one from Little Bitty Delights. I love it so much. This is, yeah, so Chevron Shenanigans. Clearly I haven't made it very far, but I'm loving it. I feel like this project really just goes in spurts, and when I am working on it, I get it down to like a science, and I don't really have to look at the pattern, and then I don't work on it for months and months, and then when I start working on it again, it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I need to figure it out. It's not that hard to figure it out. It's very easy to get back in the groove, but it still does take some time. I have markers placed here for some reason, and I don't know why. Okay, I know why that one is there. But yeah, so this might become a mindless project at some point. I would really like to work on this. I have let's see, this was not all stash. Most of it was. I added 3 colors. So no, not most of it was stash. 2 skeins of this were stash. The mohair is stash, so that's nice. Ooh, I could put that blue with this other one. That would be really pretty. The mohair. Oh my goodness. I love that idea. So I have Life in the Long Grass. This is something I don't remember. Oh, I think this was Interloop Dye Works, if I remember correctly. Do I have all the ball bands right here? Oh, I think I do. This is good planning on my part. I don't think that is in here. Because I have oyster, queen, oh, caviar, that's what it was. I think it was a sea creature. Rasool from Life in the Long Grass. So we got a Ching, 2 Life in the Long grasses. We have a Indie Dyer from Colorado. Or Colorado. Just don't want to mess up all these balls of yarn because I'm afraid they will fall apart. But anyway, I believe this red that I'm working with is from Interloop Dye Works. And I love it so much. It is beautiful. And then I've got another one that is from an indie dyer in Colorado, which is very exciting. I love to be able to work with fun little bits and pieces like that from yarn that has been collected from various places. I think I brought those 2 skeins and was like, Steven, I want to make Chevron Shenanigans. Please help me find 3 other colors. And so he helped me find 3 other colors and was just like, yes! So, another Stephen West approved. We got the thumbs up from Stephen West for the chevron shenanigans. I need to work on this. Another Stephen West project that is not a shawl. But this is where the purple mohair comes in. Really need to finish this. This stitch section took so long. This is the Hyper Knitting Cowl by Stephen West. This is from his book, Hyper Knitting. I said Hyper Knitting Cowl. It's Hyper Knitting Cowl. I have it in here. Yeah, Hyper Knitting Cowl. That's the colorwork section that I'm working on. There's stripes, there's slip stitches, I believe. There is the stitch stuff that I've already done, and then the colorwork. There are a lot of really good patterns in here, and I really need to work on them. Because, ooh, that would be a really good stash buster. Ooh, that would be fun. I like that idea. The Cozy Corner shawl looks like a lot of fun too. That would be a good stash buster. How much yarn did that use? 1,400 yards. I could really, really stash bust with that. Ooh, that would be so much fun. Oh my goodness. I don't think I feel like one of the reasons why I have not really worked on this as much is because with this book there is no PDF code, which, oh, I say that. Here it is. Why has it taken me literally so long to figure that out? This was cast on February of last year, the beginning of February last year. And I think I just really need to finish this. I think once I get past this colorwork section, the striping and the slip stitches will go quickly. Also, all of this was stash except for the addition of that bright purple mohair, which is now going to come back here once it is done with the socks. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I really need to get this done, and goodness gracious, I have 3, well, so I have this cowl that's a long cowl, I have my advent calendar cowl, and then I have this guy, and so it's just we're just doing all the cowls. But I love the color combination. I think this is super fun. I feel like this is very different. And granted, this purple shows up much more blue. It is way more bright and vibrant. And yeah, I'm just very excited. I feel like I just need to work on it. I guess I should probably get the socks done first before I continue on this, because I need to use that mohair. That would probably be the smart thing to do. So yeah, this will be worked on at some point in the near future, hopefully, because I'll get those socks done, plural, because socks usually come as a pair, and that is important to knit both of them. So yeah, Hyper Knitting Cowl. Almost knocked over this table that my coffee is sitting on. We'll take a little coffee break. Okay, so those 2 are languishing whips that need to get done. I have my sea bogger in here. That did not get any progress. I do have a skein of yarn in here for a future test knit that is very exciting. This main color yarn is coming, and I'm so excited. It took me a long time to figure out what color I wanted to use, and I cannot wait to show you guys the main color that I picked and cast it on. Also, I pulled out my happy bag. It's been a long time since you guys have seen this, and it is my happy bag because it's got all these pins that make me so happy. It's also yellow, and it's the La Bien-Aimée bag, Anyway, so in here is my O-Band cardigan by Thea Coleman out of Knit Picks. Oh, Simply Wool Worsted in the Wilhelmina colorway. Wow, that was, don't know where all that memory came from, but it did just come back, and that's really wonderful. This is a cabled cardigan, clearly. It's got pockets. What side am I showing this to you on? Here's my pockets. I have like tacked down the backs with little stitch markers so I can make it seem like they actually are pockets, which is pretty awesome. I need to work on this. This needs to get done. Also because I have so many skeins in my like cabinet of yarn that needs to be freed up. The space needs to go to other stuff, and that needs to be worked on. This is going in my carrying around the apartment bag. Next up I have, this is a high school project. One of many high school projects, but this one has still made it. This is some hand spun that I did forever ago, and sadly she is no longer dyeing. This was dyed by Dawn Landix, who used to design as well, and she actually used to dye yarn and fiber forever ago, and so this used to be her company logo, and this is the Baby It's Cold Outside color, which is super awesome. I actually have a lot of her yarn and hand spun that I worked with back in the day, and it's really, it always makes me smile whenever I work with it. But I have another massive skein, because I think it was 8 ounces that I spun, and oh my goodness, now it's all tangled. But I had originally planned to use both skeins in this project, but I don't have time for that. And I also want to use that in something else, because this is actually really good hand spun. And why is this so snarled? It's going through here. This is not why you came to watch this podcast, to watch me untangle yarn, but it will only take me a minute. So this is all I have left of this first skein. So I have a lot more. It's very, very well hand spun, if I do say so myself. And this is the Low Tide shawl. Like, it's just so beautiful. I love it so much. I need to just finish it, and it's just beautiful. I don't remember the designer of this shawl. I also need to change my needles to be better needles, because these wooden ones will not make me very happy while working on it. I think this needs some tassels for sure. Maybe I do need to add the other skein. I don't know. I think maybe once I change the needles, I think it'll be better, but I don't know. I think I want to make sure that this ends up being big enough. I don't want it to be too small, because I want to really make it a statement piece. And yeah, so maybe I will do the other skein. But yeah, this is all I have left currently. Just need to make progress on it. Like I said, this is a high school project, so goodness gracious, this has been on my needles, and these needles that I probably will not use again. But these needles for forever, and stitch markers that I remember getting, and I have other colors of these that are in other projects, but I have not used these colors because it's been in this project since high school. You know? And it's living in this little bag, which is probably a loop bullseye bump bag. You know, you do what you gotta do, and it's really, really wonderful. So that is another languishing whip that I want to pull out. Side note, hand spun. Let's talk about spinning really quick. So if you were, I have not talked about this in forever, so you may not even be new to the podcast. I do spin. I know how to spin. I have a spinning wheel. I have a ladybug. I love spinning. And I have not done it in a long time, and I really want to pick it back up again because everyone, I am going, and my mom are going to be making the new Andrea Mowry sweater, and I can only remember the Spice one. What is the other one called? Spice is the guy's version, if I remember correctly. No, bum, bum, bum. Let's go to the Spark. So the Spark cardigan, which if you are unfamiliar is this. This is her picture. Super cute. And we really, really loved it. And we looked at different, hand spun options. We looked at, like Cascade has a really, really incredible, hand spun looking yarn that is in, like, the price point is incredible. We looked at that and the colors weren't quite what we were looking for, and so we then decided, or I remembered, that I could spin the yarn and it would really not be that challenging. And so we were looking for fiber for a while, and we were trying to figure out what one that we wanted and whatever. There was just so many fun ones out there. It really inspired me to want to spin again, which is really exciting. Found a bunch of new people on Instagram to follow, which is exciting. And then I went through my fiber stash, which I do have. It's not as big as my yarn stash, which is really great. It fits in a nice plastic box that is very large, but it's still a plastic box. It sits next to our printer, fun fact. And we both found a fiber that we wanted to, like, it fit perfectly, and so that's really exciting. And I'm gonna be practicing before I actually spin the yarn for the sweater, because I want this yarn for the sweater to be, like, as close to perfect as I can get it, as much as perfect as hand spun can be. But so hopefully there will be hand spun discussion and content in the near future, and that'll be a new thing to talk about again, which is really exciting. I have not spun in forever. I'm pretty sure the last time I spun, which was when we were still living in Dallas, which was a long time ago. So, yeah. There's yarn on my wheel that's in the middle of being plied, and I need to finish that. But I think that yarn that is currently on my wheel would be very fun for a Stephen West shawl, because that would be really fun. Anyway, that's a different subject. So spinning fiber, spinning content will hopefully be coming back. It's very exciting. I'm a little nervous, but I think it'll be a lot of fun and a very cool experience. I have never spun yarn for a sweater before. I have never knit a sweater out of hand spun. Granted, we will be getting our main color after we do the spinning, or after I do the spinning, so we can kind of like base the main color off of how the hand spun turns out. So I won't be spinning that. That would be quite a lot. Maybe one day. That would be really incredible. But this sweater is not that sweater. But yeah, so that's really exciting, and I'm excited to share that process with you guys. Hopefully I need to start that process of starting again. And yeah, so that is fun stuff to look forward to, fun content, and yeah. So we are almost at an hour already, and let's just keep it at, I read a lot of books last week. I read 4 books, 5 books, 4 books, 4 or 5 books. within the span of a week. Very proud of myself. It was great. There were some really good books. There were books I didn't enjoy as much. That's okay. You know what? That's life. I'm currently listening to a really good book that I'm enjoying. I made a sourdough loaf last week and sourdough breadsticks, which were really good. The sourdough loaf, I folded in cheddar cheese, and oh my goodness, it's my new favorite thing. It's like cheese-infused sourdough bread, and it makes the best sandwiches you could ever possibly imagine. I love it so much. I'm currently making some, or I'm in the process of, or I'm not in the process. My starter is being fed, or has been fed, in preparation for pizza dough to make for Sam's birthday tomorrow, because that was the dinner that he requested, which is very exciting. And yeah, so sourdough pizza will be happening. I'm very excited about it because I love pizza. If you're new to the podcast, I would eat pizza for every meal. I believe I've said this before, and I will say it again. My heart is made out of pizza. I love pizza a lot. So those are the things that I've baked. I've also, last night, I made boxed brownies, which were just really good in general. But before sticking them into the oven, I took creamy peanut butter and I kind of swirled it around in the dough. And oh my goodness, it elevated that boxed brownie mix very high. It is so good. Would highly recommend it. Play around with your boxed brownie mixes, whatever. So good. So good. So I have discussed all this stuff. We've told many stories. I've gone on many tangents. I've sung a lot. We've discussed knitting progress advent calendars, because why not? All this stuff we have discussed a lot. A lot. And it is now time to close out this episode, because I have laundry to fold. But dinner is in the crock pot, like I said, so that's all that really matters. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I am sorry if this was a really rambly episode, because I know that they can be very rambly, but hopefully my stories were enjoyable. Did you laugh at my Kevin from The Office story? I thought it was funny. Because I can only do math if it's related to knitting, apparently. Social medias, show notes, all that stuff will be linked in the show notes. Instagram, all that jazz. Keep an eye out on my Instagram, because I feel like test knits are constantly coming out. And last week, the Speckles and Spice came out. The Willow Tea by This Bird Knits, or Annie, that came out. The Speckles and Spice was by Tammy Gore. Love those two tops. They are so cute. I've already worn the Willow Tea. It's a little too hot for the Speckles and Spice as of yet. Or not as of yet. Right now, because it is July and it is very hot. So that is all that. Keep an eye out on my Instagram because of test knits and seeing fun pictures. Also cat pictures, also sourdough pictures. So why not? Why not follow me? Or not. That's totally okay too. Don't do whatever you want to do. Thank you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you continue to have a wonderful week. If you have crafty plans, I hope that they are successful. I need to situate what projects I'm working on, because I have space in my carry around the apartment bag, and I'm very excited to figure out what gets to be worked on next and making progress on my test knits, because I did the math and I know how many rows I need to do a day. Look at me go. I'm patting myself on the back for that one. So those are all my crafty plans. Stay safe. Educate yourself, donate if you can, be kind, wear a mask, wash your hands, all that jazz. And yeah, Happy knitting, and I will see you guys next week.